Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tim Meyer, here for the Romeo Sports Recap, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. And before we begin, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Romeo Sports Recap. I'm Tim Meyer, and I'm here with Jacqueline DeLamelier, the varsity cheerleading coach for Romeo High School. Jacqueline, thanks for joining us here today.
Absolutely.
So it's been a full year since you took over, right, as a cheerleading coach?
This was our first year where Laura Reines and I were not co-coaching, so we co-coached together all last year, and then this year it's been almost a full sideline season, so not a full cheer year yet.
And have you made any changes or anything that you made any adjustments or changes that maybe hadn't done in the past?
Not really. Probably the athletes have probably had to make the most adjustments. They've, with just one coach instead of two, they've had to take on a lot more responsibility and independence. So they probably feel it more than I do. For me, the biggest change is, Laura and I are close friends. So it's a bummer not, being with your friend every day anymore.
Did she ever say why she didn't want to do it, or she just
she's got lots of great stuff ahead of her in her life right now. So she just was kind of moving on to the next chapter, which we knew was a possibility. When we came back to coach together 6 years ago now, we knew it was going to be a year-to-year thing. We weren't sure what, the road held in store for us, but it was just time for her to move on, and we were all happy for her, sad for us because it's just more fun together. But yeah, it took some adjustments. I haven't coached by myself for a while since, back in the days when I was coaching at Lance Cruz and then Romeo before that. So just had to adjust to that, But yeah, I mean,
hard not to have somebody to bounce things off of.
Yeah, it's fun. But I have some awesome sub-varsity coaches, JV coaches. Stephanie Zimmerman is our JV coach. She's been stepping up a lot and just helping with extra things as needed. Melissa Cadena and Sydney Harrison has been being an assistant coach both at the JV level and varsity level, kind of pulling double duty to help. So I'm certainly not doing it by myself. It just doesn't look quite the same anymore. But I have lots of help. So the kids probably have had to have the biggest adjustment, but
well, that's good.
Yeah.
And speaking of kids, Friday night, there were tons of little girls on the sidelines, and with the cheerleaders. What was that all about?
That's our annual youth cheer clinic. So every year, we host participants from kindergarten to fifth grade. This year, I think we had almost 170. We split it this year. So the third through fifth graders cheered with us at varsity game, and then the kindergartners through second grade, they cheered at the JV game the week before, just because our numbers are getting too big to all be together. So, but yeah, that's our annual youth cheer clinic, which is a lot of fun, and it's a big fundraiser for our program.
We could hear them, that's for
sure.
You're also involved with the competitive cheer. So, what's that like, going for a person in competitive cheer as opposed to an athlete in the sidelines cheer? What's the difference there?
It's really we work on a lot of the same skills. We're doing a lot of the same stunts, tumbling. It's just their schedule looks different. Obviously, we don't have games on Friday nights anymore, but they're competing during the week, on the weekends. So it's a bigger commitment. And it's just more, it's a busier season, but all the skills we kind of work on them. we say sideline is our practice for competitive season. We're not allowed to make up any of our material or routines for competitive, but we work on stunting, tumbling. They're training the same as if they were in competitive season.
And not all the same girls transition to the competitive cheer. Is that true?
Most of them, probably for varsity, probably about 99% of them will.
Okay.
Some years 100. It depends on the year and what the athletes have going. If an athlete does all-star cheer, they can't do all-star cheer in the competitive season and their cheer. That's one of the rules of MHSAA. So we have an athlete that is sideline only for now. But it differs year to year. But at the varsity level, I would say we've had 99 to 100%, carry over into comp.
Now, when you have tryouts, and do you pretty much know who's going to make the team, or what do you look for in somebody that maybe hasn't cheered or isn't on the team yet?
Well, to be on varsity for competitive, you have to have certain tumbling skills to be in rounds 2 and 3. So we look at tumbling. To be in rounds 1 and 2, you also have to have really great jumps, good presence. You have to know how to have motions that are tight and sharp. So we look for all of those things. We sort of usually start by seeing where tumbling is at. That's kind of like the first thing we look at. But sometimes we have athletes that, tumbling is not their strength, but they are really strong and they are great back spots or great bases. And so they may make the team for that reason. And sometimes we have athletes who just, you just can't help but watch them when they're out on the floor, and they may have great jumps and voice and face, and just that presence, that charisma. So,
and enthusiasm, right?
Yes.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about this year's team.
It's a special team. I think it's really from the beginning, they knew, without Coach Reines here, without it being the two of us, that they kind of understood right away that they were going to have to step up and be pretty independent. They're the ones, getting practices started, making sure everyone's doing what they need to do. And from the beginning of the year, they really just stepped up. And so they're a pretty amazing group of kids. We are a young team overall, more so than other years, meaning we have a higher rate of freshmen and sophomores. I was a little nervous to see how that was going to fare out, but so far they've been amazing. They're pretty fearless. Their homecoming routine and homecoming week was amazing. They had 3 great performances at our showcase, at the game, and then at the pep assembly. And so, they're amazing athletes. I'm really excited for competitive season.
Does it take a little bit of showmanship too? They have to.
Oh yeah, they have to do tumbling, stunting, and they have to also make it look easy. So they can't look tired, they can't look hurt, even though they are both typically. So it takes a lot of composure to be out there and to make it look the way they do.
How do you think they stack up with other teams you've had in the past as far as overall?
I think they're one of the best teams we've had, and I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case. Like I said, we were very young, and homecoming week, really, they proved that they can perform with some of the best teams out there. I've seen other schools' homecoming routines, and I think our kids are among the best in the area, and I think they're going to be pretty amazing. They're a little bit younger overall, but they're a pretty mature team. So, and that's why they've been able to be so successful. They're pretty fearless.
Now, there's an ugly rumor out there that cheerleaders lift weights. Is that true?
What do you mean by ugly?
Well, I don't want. I'm just trying to protect myself here. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me beat up. But you wouldn't. Normally people think of cheerleaders as just being enthusiastic and cheering and having a loud voice and stuff. But they also lift weights. right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if, a long time ago, perhaps, many, many years ago, people probably thought of cheerleading that way. But I think most people that have been around our program in the past 20 years have seen what it's been. Our program's been pretty good for a long time. They see the strength it takes. So I don't think anyone at the school,
Well,
at least, is surprised that they lift weights.
I'll tell you why. That what was the basis for that question. I have a tape of a Romeo Eisenhower game. It was at Romeo, and the cheerleaders went out there. None of them looked like they were lifting any weights or anything. And matter of fact, I don't think they did because I know a couple of them. But and then I see today, and the it's a much more sophisticated performance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they train all year round. Some of it is weightlifting. In the summer, they do the conditioning program with a lot of the other sports in the summer, and that involves weightlifting. During the season, we haven't really been lifting weights. We kind of leave that for the summer because we have so much material we have to get through. But I mean, they are strength training all the time because they're literally lifting each other and their body weight when they're tumbling, which is equivalent. So just the repetition of doing all of those things, I mean, they are incredibly strong.
What is, well, I'm not going to say anything bad to them, so I don't want to get beat up because they probably could take me, if they're lifting. But give us an idea what the preparation for a Friday night, and you're gonna cheer on Friday at the game. What's the preparation for that? How does that work? How do you, routinely go through that?
Well, we learn most of our material. Like the kids learn the cheers on their own. We don't really spend a whole lot of time on the sideline cheers. That's kind of what they do on their own. And then when we're together in the summer, we put together our material, things that we do together, routines. And then really we run through things Thursday before just, for muscle memory. But most of what we do at practice is really, conditioning, repping jumps, repping stunts, just to get stronger. And then the material we usually do Thursday night, we review it just to make sure we have everyone where they need to be. But they're pretty, by this point in the season, second to last game, it's pretty second nature to them unless we have someone, sick or who can't go in and we have to make a switch. But they can kind of, they're so used to it, they can just kind of go out there and do our game material pretty easily by this point. So it's mostly just prepping, getting stronger, getting the skills for comp season at this point.
And they must be pretty tired after Friday night's done, after the game's over, because they expound a lot of energy.
They do. They work very hard. They jump and they tumble the whole time, So, I still think probably their practice is you'll have to ask them. I don't know. They might be more tired. I have a feeling they're more tired after most practices, but games, they can be long and they're tumbling on the track is really actually quite hard because it's such a hard surface. There's no give. So that actually takes quite a lot out of them, takes a toll on their bodies, the tumbling on the track. So that's difficult. I know they're probably pretty sore the next day from games.
I'd be down for a week.
Tough. That's tough for sure.
What do you like best about this team? The people that are on the team. What do you like best? What would you sum that up as?
Oh, my favorite person is, just kidding. I wanted to see if any of them looked from over there. They're fearless. Honestly, more than any other team we've had. You throw something at them, a new stunt, it doesn't matter. They will try it. They will do it without complaint. And that has not always been the case. And some of the things that I ask them to do are pretty crazy. You can ask them. Sometimes they look at me and are like, where did you even get this from? Why are you making us do this? But with this team, they do it. They're fearless. They're willing to try anything. And I think right now that's
Probably
what I love.
Strength.
Yeah, for sure. It's their strength. Although after I saw them perform at homecoming, they're definitely performers too, the way they hit all of their stuff. So I'm proud of them.
Well, great. Well, Jacqueline, thank you for stopping by the Romeo Sports Recap. And we look forward to more football games and the competitive cheer season coming
excited.
Up. Yeah, it's great.
Right.
Let's talk to some of those cheerleaders.
Perfect. Thank you.
We'll be back right after this.
Before we continue, here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show, a word from our sponsors.
This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Now back to the show. Welcome back to the Romeo Sports Recap Show. I'm here with some varsity cheerleaders from the Romeo squad. And then we have Sanaya Earl next to me, and Brooklyn Robinson, and Tatiana Lutzai. And welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
I think we'll just start out with Brooklyn. And Brooklyn, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the Romeo varsity cheerleading team.
Okay. My name is Brooklyn. I'm a senior. I came to Romeo when I was a sophomore. We moved from Troy and Athens.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was able to be to cheer with the JV cheer team for sideline and competitive season, and then for the end of competitive season, Coach D and Coach Reines invited me to come cheer with them for regionals and districts, and since then I've been on the varsity team from then till now.
Well, that's good. Tatiana, how about yourself?
I started cheering my freshman year. I was kind of iffy on whether or not I was going to join a high school sport, but Coach D and Mrs. Reines welcomed me with open arms, and then I kind of say that Romeo cheers like my family, as corny as that sounds, but I love it, and I'm so happy that I decided to pursue the sport.
You call her Coach D. Is that because you can't pronounce her last name?
Delamalier.
Very good. We'll stick with Coach D. And Sanaya, you are, I think you're a veteran on the squad, right?
A veteran?
No, you've been a couple years, right?
I think 2 years, 3 years. My first year I was on JV, so yeah, 3 years.
So how did you get involved with the cheerleading?
Well, I've been cheerleading my whole life for Romeo. I started when I was really young. I went through Romeo Junior Bulldogs all the way until now, high school.
Did you always know you wanted to be a Romeo varsity cheerleader?
Well, yeah, I kind of felt it in my soul. When I was younger, Junior Bulldogs, I loved cheering, and I was like, I can't wait for high school. Going to the games when I was younger, I couldn't wait to be on the sideline. It looked so fun and so exciting.
And what's it like being on the sidelines now that you're on varsity and you made it? What's it like? What's the feeling? What was the feeling when you first did it?
I definitely felt very nervous, which I didn't expect to be nervous until I walked in the gate, our very first game, and I was like, the stand started filling up, and I was very eager, but I was very nervous at the same time. But at the end of it, through it, I started feeling better. I got better with the people around me, my cheer team. They helped me
They supported you a little bit.
Helped me feel more confident about being on the sideline in front of so many people.
Okay, and Brooklyn, what would you say is your biggest strength in the cheerleading team? What is your biggest contribution, your biggest strength?
I think my biggest strength would have to be either just having leadership in general, or being able to move around, so being really flexible with whatever Coach D wants us to do.
What have you done so far on the team? What has your role been?
I am a base for the most part. Well, not for the most part, for everything. I'm a base and a jumper. I'm not much of a tumbler, but those are my two really big contributions to the team.
You lift weights a lot too?
No.
Good. You must be naturally strong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And Tatiana, what is your role on the team? What do you mainly do when you're out there?
I'm also a base. I'm a main base, I'm pretty sure. I have flown before, my freshman year. I've back spotted at a competition. I've honestly played every single role in stunting.
Yeah. What's it like being a base when you have to catch somebody?
It's not bad. I feel like I'm someone who is always wanting to be there for people, and trust is such a huge thing in cheer. So I know that I have my other base, I have my back spot, and I trust my flyer to stay tight. so that way we can catch her. And
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not scared. I just don't want her to let the hit.
it looks
let
like
her hit the
they
ground.
have no fear. They have every confidence in the world that you're not going to drop them.
Yes.
Not like
'Cause
me.
we never
If I
did.
was up there, you guys would all like scatter and there'd be a big pothole there. But what is your role, Sanaya?
I'm back spot.
And what's been the best part of being on this year's team?
I think just the different vibes of the team compared to last year.
Like, what do you mean, like vibes? I mean, like, just people getting along, or just laughs, or what?
I think this team is very, very close with each other. Everyone got close really fast. We have a lot of new girls, and I think like us as seniors, we made them like comfortable on the team so that they feel open and they can be themselves. And I just feel like the whole team's like we're really good friends. Like we see each other in school, we're saying hi. There's never like a dull moment on our team.
What do you guys think, Brooklyn?
Same thing. This team is literally like, it's seriously like how Tati said, it's like being like in a family. Like I get so happy to go to practice. Like before I even came here, I was like watching like videos from our game and like from practice. Just like being here is just like, it heals something within me.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, right? How about you, Tatiana? Kind of describe your thoughts on this.
I will agree with Sanaya and Brooklyn. I feel like I finally can go to practice and it's just practice. There's nothing else. Everyone's there to do cheer and work hard, do what they're told, take corrections. So it's very nice to actually be able to go to practice and do what you came to do. So
now, how about tell us a little bit about when you're in practice, what do you guys work on?
We work on stunts, we work on jumps, we work on motions, basically everything we work on. We want to really prepare ourselves for a comp season while focusing on sideline too, like that fun aspect before we get serious before competition.
Now, are you a natural performer? I mean, do you like to perform? Do you like to get in front of people and sing or dance or play an instrument?
Sing, I don't know about sing, but I do like to perform. Cheerleading is definitely a performing sport, and I love cheerleading. So when I get out there on the floor, get out there on the sideline, I do perform because it's just so fun. I love what I do.
And how about you, Brooke? Are you a natural performer? You like getting out there and having being in the limelight, as they say?
I do. Especially like when we do like our homecoming dance, I love like just being like right in front of there. Like when I get in front of people, I perform 10 times better than I would in front of anybody else. So being in that like spotlight it's really, I don't know what to say. I don't know what the word is.
Is it it's a different turn on for you?
Yeah.
It turns on a light and you shine.
Yeah.
Tatiana, how about you? Are you a performer or are you just a support person? You don't like being out there on your own? What do you think?
no, I like performing. My first time when I started cheer, I had no idea what it was. And in the beginning, seeing the facial expressions and how you are meant to perform, I was a little taken back by it. Like, well, this looks a little crazy. But as I started getting like warmed up into the sport, I found like the love for it and going crazy with your facial expressions and really getting into what we do. I like it.
Okay. That's good because that's what makes a good cheerleader. But
yeah,
let me ask you a question now that's always been on my mind. When the team is losing, do you guys like yell even louder?
yes,
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
We have to, especially when you look on the sideline, you see how defeated the team looks. Like you really just want to encourage them as much as you can.
Yes.
There's been a few times where we've yelled at the football team and they'll look back at us like we're crazy. Specifically last game, they all looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah, but hey, they came out on top. So.
Yes.
Yeah,
they did.
they did come out on
But,
top against Stevenson. That was a pretty exciting game. Were you guys excited at the end of that game? I mean,
Oh my goodness, that was.
Yeah.
I was jumping up and down with you. We started crying.
We're like holding hands and like jumping up and down.
It's just the emotion of it. Like we know that they work so hard at practice too, and then sometimes you go out and you try your best to perform, and things don't always go how you want them to or how you expect. But we're there to cheer them on. That's our job, and I love it. I wouldn't trade this sport for anything. I'm so happy I
like you.
did it.
A pretty exciting win.
Oh yeah, I feel the same exact way. Like,
Feel it.
there's actually a picture of us all together with our hands behind our back, like right as they were right by the end zone. I love that picture so much because I think it just shows our cheer team. Like, we're all running down the sideline. Like, it's not just me this year running down the sideline. It's the whole team. Like, they love to watch the game. It's not just about cheering. It's about watching the game, seeing what goes on.
And that's important so you know when to cheer louder, right? So, last year you got to cheer for your brother,
Yes.
right? What was that like?
Oh, it was very fun. I definitely miss watching him and cheering for him. It's definitely different, I would say, because, my brother's not out there anymore, but I think I try and cheer just as equally, just as much
Mm-hmm.
as for the other football players that I did for my brother.
And so I'll ask you ladies some final questions here. One is what does Brooklyn like to do when Brooklyn isn't cheerleading? What do you do that makes you happy besides cheerleading?
In my free time, I watch a bunch of cheer stuff, but if it's not cheer, I'm on the phone with my friends, or like I'm doing my hair, or I'm doing somebody's nails, or something, or specifically
You're
tonight,
pretty
just-
talented. Oh my,
Very good at it.
very detailed.
Or
Wow.
I'm just talking with my friends, especially like the seniors on this cheer team. Like, we've talked about how like we're so happy that we all got to be seniors together, and that this is our senior like group. It's just like it's the best. And like being friends with them and like being so close with all of them, like these are my family. Like these are my people. So like talking to them like outside of cheer is like the highlight of my day every day.
What do you think you're going to do after you get out of high school? What are you looking forward to doing besides not going to school?
I do plan on going to college, becoming a mental health counselor.
Oh, good. You can treat me.
But I do want to open like my own practice with my sister someday and
Yeah.
do that. But
Well, that's good. That's fantastic. And Tatiana, same question. What do you do when you're not cheerleading and not out there with your friends?
I like to bake. I actually just brought this,
Did you bring goodies today? No,
not to them, but
I should have told you.
at lunch today, I brought this apple crumble cheesecake that I made to lunch, and
Oh,
I got some pretty high ratings on it, so that's good. But
boy, that's
Why are you
pretty good. Yeah, well, we did it. I didn't get any of that. So, but you'll have to bring it by and drop it off at the studio on a Tuesday, when you're not cheerleading or not busy. And so what do you want to do when you
I
get out of high school?
Yes, I plan on going to college as well. Going into the medical field, I have thought of becoming an oral surgeon and also opening up my own practice.
So business owner and get a
Yes,
skill too.
which is really nice because I get to experience that at Romeo. I'm in both the business and medical pathways there, so
Oh,
get like the best of both worlds.
fantastic. That sounds great. And so now you're not doing anything, right? After high school, right? What are you going to do?
Oh, I want to be a psychologist, yes.
You girls are going to psychoanalyze me before this is over.
I want to go to school to study psychology and become a child teen therapist, and I also want to play softball in college.
You like that? And that's pretty cool. That's pretty quickly. Who's your favorite teacher? Do you have one?
I love all the teachers equally. They're so nice and
That's the right answer.
amazing people.
You're going to have a career as a politician too. So. How about you, Brooklyn? What do you?
again, I love all of my teachers very equally. They're all amazing.
And I know what you want. You want to say the same thing.
Yes,
I love all my teachers, okay, that's fair enough. Now, who's your favorite football player? Since your brother's gone.
Oh, on the football team?
Yeah, do you know them? Any of them?
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of them. I know Kaden Bruja.
Oh,
Gijon.
Yes, I know Aiden Rocha,
Ethan.
Ethan Amarino.
Great kids.
They're great people.
yeah.
Very respectful boys.
Yep.
Yes.
Very nice.
What about you, Brooklyn? Who's your favorite football player?
I know the same people that Nia named.
You're definitely psychology. Tatiana, I know you got one of your football players as your boyfriend, right? No? No, okay. But who is your favorite football player?
I don't have a favorite. I like them all equally.
I'm sitting here with psychoanalysts and politicians here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show. Ladies, I wish you success. I know the weather's going to get cold. I talked to you on the sidelines. You guys had your warm-ups on the last game, away game that we had. It was a little chilly out there. But wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. And I think you're all going on a competitive cheer, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be fun, and we'll have you on after your season is done there when you come home with all these trophies.
Yes. Unfinished business.
Yeah, we've got big business in the stand.
Yes, we do.
Fire is catching.
Fire's catching.
Threatening us with a good time here in the next show. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
Joining
so
us here in the Romeo Sports Recap. I'm Tim Meyer for the Mitt TV. Thank you for joining us on the Romeo Sports Recap.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this episode of the Romeo Sports Recap Show, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. You can subscribe to the Mitt TV YouTube page and click the notification bell to stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Romeo Sports Recap. Or you can find us on Spotify and follow our podcast, Romeo Sports Recap. From the Mitt TV, I'm Tim Meyer, signing off with a final word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com.